Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about seeing people online more and more, it seems like. Maybe I've just fallen down a rabbit hole, but seeing them where they're grown adults, okay, of any age, they're adults, and they seem to be play acting. And I mentioned this in a video before, I don't know which channel I put it on, but it's too much like, when children, talking children here on this part, they do the dress up thing, they have tea parties, they sit around a little table and have tea parties, or they do the dress up, and some of them do the makeup, and they wear the parents' clothing, some of them wear their, like you've probably seen that, where their the little girls wear their mother's shoes and walk around like with the makeup and everything. But these are grown adults. Now, that was the example, but the grown adults doing that, not in the clothing or whatever, but in like fields, like different fields of study that some people actually went through, fields as far as different jobs, different, they had to have certifications, or they had to have license, or they had to, go to an academy, attend classes, get a university degree, whatever they had to get, they got. But these are ones that are play acting like they have that. Sorry about this. I'm having allergies. I always have allergies year round, but now with the pollen, oh boy. And it's difficult to not want to sneeze or cough while I'm talking. So anyway, but play acting. Now, I mean, to me, I don't care what age you are as an adult, but I would expect it less and less as they mature, or they age, I should say. Mature, well, that's still questionable. Now, I'm not trying to be, well, I am judging in a way, but really I'm pointing out this seeing this so much, that people who do not have the credentials, they are pretending that they do, or that they don't even need them because they know better than the ones who actually do have the credentials. It's like the people who, do the whole thing of, watching football, and then what I just heard it called something today, but that afterwards they said, well, this would have worked if they would have done this, but no matter what, if they did that and it worked, if it didn't, they're going to have something to say about it. No matter what, that they would have done it better, or they would have done it differently, and it can be in anything. It's not just football, of course. None of this is just one thing, really. There's so many of them, and I'm just astounded by it. Not really, I'm not, but it's just become more and more obvious, more and more obvious. It's like I've fallen down a rabbit hole, seriously, of seeing this is what pops up, and like for one of them, I'm actually interested in something that's going on, but in video. Now, something that's really there, and is a situation, and I want to see a result, but there's so many people are commenting in on it, making their own videos on it, and their own theories, and their own, whatever. And that's the part of falling down a rabbit hole. Is there anybody who actually is the voice of authority on something speaking out? And then how do they treat that person? Seriously, when I say it's hard to get my words out with all these allergy things going on, oh my goodness. But it reminds me of so many years ago. I don't even know how many years ago it was. I remember seeing a clip or something about, I'm not talking about on video, because I don't even think computers were all that advanced back then. It was something on TV, and it was basically a woman who was she was a professor at a not good university, and she was in sociology. She was a sociology professor, and she was talking about something. She knew what she was talking about. She's a professor. She, all this. And there were people in the, especially one man. I don't even remember who it was, what they looked like. I remember one was a woman, one was a man. But just basically saying she didn't know what she was talking about. Wow, that was so many years ago, and like I said, it wasn't online. And I'm like, wow. And then I remember when I was one of those back in the 1990s, and even a little before then, who was there that when the internet, basically the World Wide Web, started really it just really started. Okay, like 1990 and a little bit before then. And there was a young man. He was saying that this, somebody was, these two guys, we were doing telnet into somebody else's computer, and they were doing the same thing, from our home to their home, all this to their computer, this kind of thing. And I remember reading one of them. Back then it was all reading. There weren't videos. Nobody was making, at least I knew, way back then. But one guy was saying, had written, do you realize how foolish you sound, because that woman actually has her master's degree in sociology. Now, I was a student at the time, and I think I was an undergraduate, and had a double major, psychology and sociology. But I have a master's, after that, but not then. And I was thinking, and the guy was still trying, the young guy was still trying to defend himself, I think. And they were like, I was like, do people even think that way, or they immediately assume they know better? Well, yeah, I can't say story of my life, but basically really part of it. Have seen this so many times, but it just seems to be worsening. Or is it really, I would say, is it really worsening, or it's just, you can see more of it. You can see stuff online now, videos and such, and people writing the same thing. But does that necessarily make it more, more? You see what I'm saying? It's just that you can see it more. Okay. I know that makes sense. Okay, because really, I mean, people, people say this, I say this, things, they're just easier to see now. You can look online and, try to search for something, and you can wind up, many things have a video, just certain things, certain topics, but you can find videos of people and watch me and say, that's not right. It's not right. But then if you watch more of them, you start to see it's this, for some of them, well, I'm going to get this out one of these days, but that there are adults play acting. There really are adults who are play acting like they know what they're talking about. And it has to, I've done videos on this, and the question is why. There's so many reasons why. They're trying to seem, there's so many reasons, I can't list them all, but some of it is just the whole basically narcissistic attitude. Some of it's histrionic. They're actually playing. I have seen videos when we all wear different masks and different hats for different things. No, I'm not talking about any type of person, but basically we can be, we're different. We don't disclose everything, like so you have a mask covering everything about you. To some people, that's just normal, that part. But some people take it to an extreme, and it's not normal, but it's abnormal. But anyway, you see, we all do in certain things. Do you behave the exact same way to everybody? And I remember saying, yeah, of course I do. But somebody had given me an example one time, like back in the day, whenever there were pay phones, and instead of and no cell phones, they were just pay phones. And back then they called them bums. Walked up to you and gave you, asked for a dime to use the pay phone. How would you respond versus if it were the banker that you knew? Said, I don't have any change on me, can you give me a dime? you know, and I really thought about it. I said, yeah, you know, in a way, maybe. But we're not all perfect. We don't always do the same with different people. I mean, this just is. You have a friend, you tell your woes to your friends, but you don't go to your boss and tell all your, you know, woes to your boss. Well, some people do. But anyway, back to this about some people are just play acting. That their behaviors are so odd, but it seems like to some it's just common. It's like no big deal. You know, you can see it. It's because they do it too. I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking about this topic. I've already done it. Made a video on it, but like I said, I don't know which channel. I write these little stories, and you know, to use these, you know, hypothetical fictional examples, and I have more than one for the different storylines. I have more than one channel. So okay, I'm serious. These allergies, oh my goodness, it's not letting me even think straight, really. But I was going to talk about, you know, when they, like, you have somebody's doing a live stream video, and they have all these types. You know, many of the people who are on, like, you know, the panel, they have this kind of thing about them. They would want to think that they're some kind of expert that they're not. And then the person who runs it actually gets someone up there on the panel who is that type of person, who is that voice of authority on it, who's done their homework, literally, gotten whatever they needed. How do you think some of these people who are armchair professionals of whatever it is, okay, you know, how do you think they treat them? How many of them have you ever seen? They will attack verbally that person. Some of them can be downright rude, or just sit there and say, no, I think you're wrong, when that person is actually a voice of authority. What are you doing? You know, you're wanting somebody up there to be torn down? So all these armchair whatever professionals can sit there and say, I know better than you, when they don't. And then they don't look like fools because the safety in numbers kind of thing. And they're big bullies in a whole group of them. And this person is here to give reality, to give the voice of authority, to give what is real. And these other ones are, no, this, oh no. You know, it's like, oh my goodness, not only they're acting like, you know, play acting, but then they're being abusive. It's a shame. It really is to see so much of that. Now, as far as falling down a rabbit hole, why is it that it's so easy to see that, no matter which social media platform you're on? That's so. Where are the people who are real voices of authority? Why are they not promoted? You know, as much. Whatever social media platform, whatever it is. Where are they? Instead, it's fall down a rabbit hole. Somebody's turning around doing something weird. But fall down a rabbit hole of people who are play acting and do not know what they're talking about. They're not voices of authority, but they certainly think that they are, and they're going to tear down anybody who is. That's such a shame. It's despicable. Really. Okay, I'm distracted by somebody was doing something weird. I'm sitting in my SUV. I'm going to wind up putting a visual effect on this, so you won't see that that's what I'm doing. Really? Who is this? But like I said, I get distracted because, you know, I've been driving many years. And, of course, if something goes on in my rearview mirror, I'm going to look up to find out why. So, in real life does often happen in the middle of a video. But anyway, have you seen this? How do you respond to it? When somebody is, you know, especially like if it says your own job or your own, you know, area of expertise, as we used to just call it, area of expertise. But You know, you're a voice of authority on that. You actually are. You actually, you know, did what needed to be done to do it, to have those credentials. I just made it up, but you really do. How do you respond when somebody comes at you and says, I know more about it than you do, and they don't have any credentials? Let me know. Leave a comment below and let me know. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.